That's the first question. Why are y'all all Sith Lords?
We're the Empire.
Is that the overall team then?
Yes, the Empire.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So what made y'all decide to split into 3 different groups that worked independently?
Actually, everyone did because it was Mr. Livesey's suggestion. We all split up into groups. I worked with JD, Zeke with Lila, and Jackson with Veda.
How did y'all determine those?
How we all
We
determined
just-
them? We just kind of randomized. We made sure that we didn't have 2 people in the same grade or the same gender per group.
And we chose 3 people with at least some experience with Inventor.
Yeah.
Because that's where we started.
Because Marcus and I are both 8th graders, so we've taken the Mr. Livesey's class for 2 years, and we've used Inventor in both of those years, so we are very familiar with it. And Zeke is really good friends with Mr. Livesey's son, so he's played around on it some. So.
But you had your 2 most experienced people on the same team.
No, we
No.
didn't.
You didn't? I missed that.
He's a
No.
7th grader.
I'm 7.
Oh, 7.
I'm an 8th
You're the
grader.
8th grader. Gotcha. Okay.
I don't judge you for.
You be the first.
I was more like a 6th grader than I do an 8th grader.
No, it's fine. No, he just doesn't look like he should be in middle school. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Welcome to my world. Jason does that a lot because he's really tall.
Any other questions?
I do have one. I was looking at your model right here.
Which one?
It's the one with the panels on the outside.
This one?
Yeah, it looks like y'all cut some of the material out of
Yes,
your door.
yes,
Why did y'all
yeah.
do that?
We put in
So it wouldn't,
indents and then we sanded it down.
It wouldn't go outside of the limit of the 100 millimeters, and we cut it to put it inside the X's so
Yeah.
they wouldn't like exceed.
And then on the bottom one with our finished one, if you see on the bottom, we made it like this so we could get as maximum energy as possible. So for this one, we would actually place the solar panel in through the top.
Yeah.
So then we wouldn't actually have to put as much work.
That's very good thought.
We
It's always-
did it on the bottom this way, otherwise we would have done the frame X's because it can't print in midair. If the X was above, like this, see, it's recessed. We couldn't have a recessed thing. So we need it to be outwards, and you have to have solar panel.
Recess thing.
And I was just very impressed
We
because
can get the
it's
same.
Was that one of your design solutions for getting more current?
Yeah, and not to diss on the other group, but ours was better because because we have the recessed edges so that none of the solar panels covered, whereas they had theirs where most of it was covered.
no, those are good design thoughts.
So you printed these in one piece. Did you think about printing them in separate pieces and putting them together?
We printed that, and then we printed the door to put on it. But
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the only separate piece we printed.
And how close are, so you used Autodesk Inventor, right? Okay, 10 centimeters. Have you measured it after you printed it to see how close it is to what you designed?
Yeah.
Yes.
How close was it?
It was
exact.
approximate. Yeah.
It was, okay. So did that change the way you thought about printing? Because of how big the print is?
I mean,
Not necessarily. Well, not really. I mean,
I didn't quite understand your question.
Well, when you manufacture something,
Yeah.
it can be a different size than
Yeah.
what you design.
yeah, some of the groups had a problem with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ours was-
One of them, I can't remember which one it was, but it was like a little bit too big, a scale too big by just like one unit.
I have a question for you guys. Do any of you know how to use burn wire? Because that's been driving us insane for a whole year.
Making enough amperage to cut through it.
Yeah, like what do you use to
So,
for burn wire?
I'm actually working on a CubeSat where we have some burn wire mechanisms on it. So this is like a rule of thumb: the longer you make your burn wire, the more power you have to put through it. So if you were gonna, say if you had a smaller battery and it wasn't getting hot enough, if you just cut your wire in half, that would get warmer.
Yeah,
so
we.
the length of
That's
the wire.
probably why.
Yeah.
No, we did that. We got some really short pieces and tried it, and it still wouldn't get heated up enough. What kind of battery do you use? Like a
So we have it plugged into like a power source.
Oh.
So
Oh,
right-
because
We use
probably
the,
should-
we use the battery.
Yeah, we use the.
we really don't, we're not gonna be using the batteries that for our testing, we've been plugging into power sources and we can adjust the voltage and the current. And you can kind of fine tune it, so we do like,
That's a better
Yeah, that's
idea.
smart.
so we do
Guess
like,
that's why you asked.
we do like 10 volts and 1 amp. That's what we use for that burn wire, so.
We were trying to use like a big 6
9
volt
volt.
thing. Like about that tall, you know
Yeah.
what 6 volt is?
It got hot,
it
but
would
not
get warm, but it would not get hot enough.
I got you. So you could also, another thought too, is you can get a smaller diameter wire. You know, you don't need a very big wire to pull through that
Yeah.
string. If it's
Yeah, we tried to
500,
find the
800
smallest
degrees.
wire that would be long
Yeah, we
enough.
tried to use a little one. This is it.
No, I was very impressed in seeing the burn wire in spring sets. That's a lot of what we use on our stuff too. It's a good idea, it's good research.
Amazon.
It took forever to find it.
Oh
We had
yeah.
to look through that. We had to look through like cooking supplies to
Yeah.
find the burn wire.
Because he wouldn't give us the actual name of it. All he called it was burn wire. He wouldn't call it nichromire or anything.
We didn't know the
So.
difference.
It's good you found that. Good job.
We found a hand dryer.
Oh, yeah.
We could press hand dryer.
So one thing I do want to point out, you know, all this technology is great. Prezi is wonderful, and PowerPoint and scripts and everything is wonderful. But one thing I saw here that was encouraging is you had problems with the AV stuff, and this gentleman here was able to go off script and still be able to present and stay on target. So one thing I would encourage all of y'all, don't get constrained by all this neat stuff. It's wonderful to have pictures, and it helps an audience, in particular if the audience knows nothing about what you're talking. But if you're talking to an organization like us, we've kind of given you the task, we understand a lot of what's going on. Sometimes this can become a hindrance to you just actually telling us what you've done. So I would encourage you, as you're going through and you're growing in this, if you want to stay in this field, this is not your product. This is not what's going to set you apart in terms of presentation and all that. You need to be able to stand on what you've done and be able to communicate that well. So I really appreciate the fact that, you know, you tried for a second to get back on script and you're like, this isn't working, we need to keep moving forward, and you tried to explain to the best of your ability in that way. I would encourage the rest of you to consider that as well.
And I think another great thing is they admit mistakes. This didn't go well. This was really a flop. This wasn't great. I think that's absolutely commendable because we have to admit our mistakes, and especially NASA when something is not right. And for you all to do that just so openly is absolutely terrific. So thank you. And I'm sorry, Susan and I have to leave. I hope somebody's recording these next two because we sure do want to see them.
What do we call a failure in our
First attempt.
First attempt at learning. First attempt in learning.
That's marvelous.
Thank you guys.
We hope to see you again.
We have more questions?
Yeah, one sec. What is that button do? That little thing?
It's an external mic for that. It just expands the microphone.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it's like if someone were to be at the meeting virtually, like through a telephone or something?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a speakerphone. But this one, if you're standing up there where you are, we can turn that one
Yeah,
on and they
you
can hear it.
Got it. That makes sense. I was just wondering.
No worries.
Looks cool.
Thank you.
You guys.